Welcome back, everybody. We just took care of the rest hold, and it's time for us to get into our main event of episode number 239 here. This is going to be another edition of Call the Spot on the Card. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown here. It's a ranking system, kind of like a marry, fuck, kill, sort of a more intricate version of the retain, repackage, release that we did not that long ago, where we have 5 wrestlers that we have to rank in order, and it goes from the top of it, which is the main event, goes to upper mid-card is the next one, mid-card is underneath that, jobber is underneath that, and then eventually released is the bottom option, and you have to put one person in those spots. You can't double up. You can't say, well, I want 2 people in the main event and nobody to be released. Nope, you gotta pick, and that's what ends up being difficult about it, is somebody has to get fired, somebody has to be the top of the card. We've done some editions in the past where it's been a bunch of jobbers, and that's what's difficult. We've had some in the past where it's sort of a mixed bag, and it's a little bit easier, but this time around, it's all people that should necessarily be in the main event. They were all in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and we have 6 people that were involved in that. One person, Dean Ambrose, ended up winning, so why not take the other 5 people and decide who ranks next up in that hierarchy when it comes to that, and who just really shouldn't have gotten the spot to begin with. So,
see more reason that we shouldn't have had 7 participants.
Yeah, because then we couldn't have done this one. We would have had to take somebody out of the equation. Callisto.
I mean, WWE did, so.
Yeah. Maybe that's why. Maybe they were like, they might do a call the spot. Throw them a bone, I doubt it. But our 5 people for this edition in alphabetical order, at least for the first names, are Alberto Del Rio, Cesaro, Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn, who incidentally would also be the last when it comes to the surname, but whatever the case may be. So you have to fit them in there in some fashion, and let's see what we end up going with here. We're going to go in reverse order, because why not? Released. Wego, who out of those 5 would you fire?
My name is Alberto Del Rio, and I'm fired.
I agree. Del Rio gets my release too. I'm curious if it's the same reasons or not, but what are you going with?
No, here's the thing. I don't necessarily dislike Alberto Del Rio like Tony does. I think that he is a great wrestler. I think he's in one of the best shapes he's been in since I've seen him. I just don't like his current character in WWE. At least before he had the cars, he had the pyros, he had something going for him. Who the fuck is Del Rio now? Some guy related to Dos Caras.
Who's dating Paige?
Who's dating Paige?
He's Poppy now.
He's Poppy, yeah. Like, he's not doing anything, just getting shit tattoos.
Yeah, he's somebody who I've said many times in the past I'm not the biggest fan of, but that's actually not the reason why I would put him on the release tier. Like, you gotta put that aside a little bit, Yeah, I don't find him too entertaining, but I see a lot of value in him. And if this wasn't a case where these other people were more important, I'd put the guy at least in the mid-card, if not the upper mid-card, maybe even the main event.
Definitely. He's easily a main eventer. I just don't enjoy his work right now because, well, everything's fallen flat.
Yeah, he's not as entertaining as he used to be. He doesn't seem to have quite a grasp on, what he wants to do. He clearly wants to be a heel. That's one thing.
Yeah, well, even when he was a babyface, he was doing interviews going, yeah, this is lame.
Yeah. So, he's got that going for him, but he's not doing thankfully, he's not doing the Mex America thing anymore. That was terrible. But he doesn't have any flair. And I'm getting the feeling that he doesn't want to be there. Do you kind of think that too?
I don't think that. I think the reason he signed away from Lucha Underground and all these other and AAA was because he's like, oh, I can get paid real money instead of this cheap indie shit? Okay.
I don't know if the money's keeping him there or what, but...
So what brought him back? I mean, he was good. He was given opportunity after opportunity outside of the WWE, and he was just like, nah.
He definitely is sticking in there for the money, but I think that that's the only reason why. And that's part of the reason why I would just kind of release him. It's like, well, if you've got no passion for it, and the other people clearly do, then just, fuck him. He said before he wants to retire in a few years. Get rid of him now,
Agreed.
So, I mean, for the people that are going to be like, oh, Tony's just going to put him in there because he hates him. I don't hate him. He's not Sheamus. I don't hate Sheamus either, but yeah, there are bigger fish to fry. and more important people that could do more with a push, and people that I just like better. So that takes us into Jobber, though. And I think we're going to disagree with this one. I'm giving Sami Zayn the Jobber spot.
I gave Sami Zayn the jobber spot.
Oh, right.
Because what do you need in a jobber? You want somebody that looks like he can lose. Sami Zayn looks like he could lose to everybody on the roster.
Pretty much, yeah.
You need somebody that can sell. Sami Zayn can sell. You need somebody that can bump. Sami Zayn sure as hell can bump.
And you need somebody who's likable, too.
Yeah, definitely. You want to build sympathy for the guy that's taking the beat down.
Like, Zack Ryder, we kind of like make jokes about Zack Ryder all the time. I like Zack Ryder. But Zack Ryder is one of the best jobbers that they've got. Because this dude gets enough of a reaction that if he loses to somebody like a Baron Corbin on this week, people are going to be like, damn, Zack Ryder didn't pull out that win. Sami Zayn is a dude that every time he loses, people are pissed.
Honestly, just looking at him, he's much better than a jobber, but he's the perfect jobber.
Yeah. I mean, his name was El Generico. Like, he looks like a dork. I make that joke all the time, but it's true. Like, this dude comes out, and it's like when Barry Horowitz would come out, and it's just kind of like, hey, I'm smiling, I'm happy to be here, I'm gonna do my best, and gosh darn it, if I lose, I'm gonna pick myself back up. And it's like, yeah, you put him against these other people here, he would get his ass kicked. And I like the guy. I want him to be the Intercontinental Champion at some point this year, but there are 3 people who are just above him. That's what's tough about this list.
It's kind of funny. We both went exactly the same with Del Rio and Sami Zayn.
I'm curious to see if we go with the other ones too. I don't think we will, but who do you have for your mid-carder?
Break the walls down. Chris Jericho is my mid-carder.
All right, we do have a disagreement then.
That's good. So the reason I went with Chris Jericho is dude's old. Why keep him in the main event scene? He's not going to be there much longer. He already goes between part-time schedules. He's back for a lot longer than I realized this time, but generally, he doesn't stick around too long. And maybe he's just having an extra long run because he's on his way out. He's better. He at the mid-card, he can wrestle upper mid-card guys and put them over and help establish mid-card talent. He can hold the IC title, he can hold the US championship, and people won't go, well, he's above that. They'll be like, yeah, it makes sense. So, yeah, he's the perfect mid-carder.
That's kind of why I actually put him as my upper mid-carder. Spoiler alert. I'll get to that in a minute or so, but I went with Cesaro for the mic work situation for mid-card. That's the thing that really hinders him. He can't talk. I can't talk. I'm flubbing all of my lines for here tonight too, but hey, I'm not an upper mid-carder. Cesaro has a lot of positives when it comes to the ring work, and he's got a great look to him and all that, but the dude has like 0 character. And if you're going to try to push him in that main event thing, he needs a manager or so for that upper mid-card spot. Mid-card or Cesaro, perfect, I think. Upper mid-card Cesaro, totally on board with. I think a main event Cesaro can be done, but to kind of go into the upper mid-card section, Jericho to me is somebody who can kind of go back and forth between mid-carder, upper mid-carder, and main eventer. And he's that right type of level where, like, he can beat a main event guy and I believe it, and he can lose to a mid-carder and I believe it. So that's why I kind of have to put him in the middle, that upper mid-card spot. You know what I mean?
I totally get it, but there's reasons why I think my next guy should be in the upper mid-card.
Well, since we only have those couple of lists there like that, let's kind of tie this into upper mid-card and main event. Who do you got for those two?
So for the upper mid-card, I got Cesaro. For the main event, I got Kevin Owens. The reason I've got Cesaro in that upper mid-card spot is because I think he's an outstanding wrestler. I think he's much better than everybody on this list. But that only gets you so far. And I actually think he's one of the top 4 guys in the company as far as in-ring work goes. You can put him with anybody. He can wrestle a main event level. And you know what? When he's in there, the fans don't give a fuck about his character anymore. They're like, do the big swing. Do the cool stunts where you pick people up from the outside of the ring. He has enough going for him, entrance-wise and in-ring-wise, where he draws attention away from all his weaknesses, and he's constantly improving on the microphone. whenever you give him an opportunity in that main event and upper mid-card scene, he flourishes. So give him that opportunity, and I think what happens is you let him evolve into what he can truly be, and that's a guy that's like the foundation for your company. He can help hold that upper mid-card level and WrestleMania event guys. Kevin Owens, but as far as he goes, just amazing.
The quote that I always use, which is just to piggyback off of Dane, is just give that guy the belt. Dude's so good. He's clearly my like favorite upstart from NXT in the longest time, and I actually even would put him, if he's not my favorite guy on the roster right now, he's in the top 3. Like it's some kind of a tie or something. Owens is the man. That dude needs that belt. I wanted him to win Money in the Bank. I'm cool with Dean Ambrose. Now that we have this Roman Reigns suspension, I'm really curious if they're sitting there going, fuck. But Owens is a dude, he needs to win that world title at some point. And I want him to win the only world title, too. I don't want this to be a situation where Kevin Owens is only a main eventer because there's 2 brands. He deserves to be a main eventer in 1 brand.
All of these guys could be a world champion given the 2 titles, even Sami Zayn. But I'm very much on the same level as you. Like, Kevin Owens is amazing. Microphone-wise, fantastic. In-ring-wise, fantastic. And because he's fat, he has a lot of merch. So he's selling merchandise constantly. Though I do think that's the biggest detriment, and if somebody made the argument, I would disagree with them. He does not look like a champion.
Yeah, like you look at a Cesaro or a Chris Jericho or a Del Rio, they're really fit, in shape, and they're the type of guy you can see carrying a company when it comes to, like, you know, just holding the belt and just being like, yeah, I'm the champion or like that. Kevin Owens looks like an indie kind of guy.
He looks like indie trash, let's be real.
Yeah.
Fucking sleeveless shirt, armpit hair fucking sticking out.
Baseball shorts.
Big round fucking belly, shorts. Yeah, won't wear tights. The dude looks like an indie guy. Mm-hmm. But he's so good that I look past it and I'm like, he's everything the main eventer should be, except the body.
Mm-hmm. He is so good that he makes up for that negative. Because if he wasn't anywhere near as good as he is, WWE probably wouldn't even sign him. But he proves himself over and over and over again. He's wrestled different style matches with different people, and this dude always ends up delivering. And the mic work, too. Alone, the mic work is one of the best examples of somebody who can carry their character for the past bunch of years. So it's like, this dude doesn't need a manager. He's good in the ring. He carries himself like a champion, too. That whole, like, prize fighter type of atmosphere.
Everything he says makes sense, too. Like, he has it's like, he gives a reason why he wrestles. A lot of people don't do that. He gives everything of his characters thought out, like even the small details. If you just listen to the shit he says, and not just on Raw, not on SmackDown, but even the backstage segment stuff, he's on the ball with the things he says.
I don't think there's anybody on this roster, except maybe John Cena, but even then, I think you can make an argument. Actually, you know what? No, I would say even John Cena doesn't apply. Dean Ambrose is the only other one, other than Kevin Owens, that knows their character 100%.
Yeah. Who are comfortable in their own skin.
Mm-hmm. Dean Ambrose is always just kind of like, yeah, I'm a fucking weirdo. I'm a lunatic guy. I'm going to beat some people up. I'm going to get my ass kicked too. And it's, whatever. Kevin Owens is just like, he will argue with a baby face. He'll argue with a heel. It always comes down to, I want to win matches. I want to win titles. I want to make money. Fuck you. I'm the best. Everything comes down to that. A guy like Cesaro, sometimes he's a little jokey. Sometimes he's real serious. You've got, like, even the John Cena thing, like I just said, sometimes he's like, I'm going to play up to the crowd and they're going to love me, and sometimes they're not. Roman Reigns really has been struggling. Kevin Owens has it down. So he definitely gets the main event. So that's interesting. We switched up Cesaro and Chris Jericho.
I mean, like, I see what you're saying. Jericho's very talented and he can definitely fit in those roles, but when it comes down to that, I think age is such an important factor.
That is true. I think that's what probably the hardest decision out of all of them, except maybe the Del Rio thing, like, because it's tough to say Del Rio should be released. He really shouldn't.
Yeah, like, and there's no, like, when I say I want to release Del Rio, not from, like, I don't, like, a lot of times we'll come across a guy where we're like, yeah, I want to release this guy because he fucking sucks and deserves to be released. Del Rio, he's a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no other way to say it, but given the guys, like, Sami Zayn would be a better jobber than Del Rio would.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy Del Rio being a jobber.
No, like, you've got to, like, people think jobber just means you lose a lot. No, a jobber is if a jobber done right is a very important role and could be one of the most important in the company. Like, to be somebody that can get genuine sympathy and help elevate guys, very important, and something fundamentally wrong with WWE right now. They don't have real jobbers anymore.
And it's almost kind of like a better thing, in this scenario at the very least, for Del Rio to be released than to be the jobber.
Because he doesn't get devalued before he gets released.
Yeah, he can go to like New Japan and be a top guy. He could be the top guy in ROH, top guy in TNA, top guy in Lucha Underground. Like, that's sort of like you're better than being a jobber, but we can't give you the other 3 spots.
Mm-hmm.
And Sami Zayn's like, you're good, but you're just gonna get your ass kicked.
You're good, but you're really good at getting beat up.
You're really good at just staring up at the lights. So how about you can do that for a little bit,
And then we'll reassess it later.
Yeah. So, interested in what you guys have to say about this, leave your comments below. Tell us what your rankings are for main event, upper mid-card, or jobber, and released for these 5 people. What do you think about our list? Do you agree, disagree with our points of view when it comes to these people? Or are you somebody who's like, fuck you, Sami Zayn should be main event, Del Rio should be upper mid-card, or you fucked this all up? Whatever the case may be, or like that. We said before that we are not going to do a fantasy league, because we don't really have anything to talk about. Peyton's not here to give us any more information. I don't know if it's been updated or anything like that, and we don't have any trades. So why create another separate segment where we say nothing? Instead, we're just going to go into the plugs real quick. So, Wago, anything you want to promote out there?
All right, as always, you can follow me on the Twitter at Stephen Wago to keep updated with everything I'm doing. I also have the same handle on all of social media and my Twitch channel where I do a lot of fighting games. Stephen is spelled with a PH and Wago is WAGO.
And for my plugs, if you didn't check out the rest hold, you're a jerk. But go ahead and do that. Just keep following smarkoutmoment.com, fanboysanonymous.com, and everything else on social media from a mango tree. And that is it for this week for episode number 239. Next week, we're going to get into the mailbag questions that you guys submit to us. So go ahead and send them in while you can. We're going to backlog those over the next couple of days and answer everything that you guys send our way. But that's it for this episode, everybody. Thank you all for listening. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Leave a positive review on iTunes, all the other jazz like that. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.